She dared me to trust her. I met Haley during the kind of night you remember for no real reason. It wasn't a party, wasn't a date, just a Thursday in late October. The kind of cold that clung to your hoodie and made cheap coffee taste like magic. She was sitting on the hood of her car outside the dorms, legs swinging slowly, headphones in, no jacket on, like she didn't believe in weather or consequences. I only noticed her because she wasn't like the others. Everyone else moved with purpose. She just existed, untouchably calm, like she'd already figured everything out and was just watching the rest of us scramble. I should have known she was dangerous the moment she smiled at me like I was the next song on her playlist. Hey, you're in Psych 205, right? I was. She wasn't. She later admitted she'd never taken psych anything. She just liked how I looked when I was scribbling notes in a panic during lectures. Charming, right? We talked for 3 hours that night. About nothing and everything. She chain-smoked like it was a religion, had one chipped black nail, and a playlist filled with songs that sounded like betrayal set to guitar. When she laughed, she tilted her head back like she wasn't afraid of showing her throat. That should have told me everything. But I was 21 and lonely and stupid and aching for something that felt like risk. Haley felt like a cliff with no guardrail. And I was already leaning forward. The first time she kissed me, she whispered, "Don't fall in love with me, Aiden." I laughed. Thought she was just being dramatic. But she didn't smile back. I mean it. I destroy people when they start expecting things from me. I kissed her again anyway. Because I didn't think she meant me. Because boys like me think warnings are poetry and red flags are stories we can rewrite. Our relationship was unlabeled, by her choice. She hated words like exclusive or together or boyfriend, said they sounded like cages, said she didn't believe in ownership. But I was hooked before I even realized there was a hook. She made me feel like the only one she saw. She said I was soft in the places the world had made her hard. I thought that was romantic. Now I know it was just her way of saying I was easy to use. One night, I asked her what she wanted from us. We were lying on her floor, heads on opposite ends of a ratty blanket, candles flickering shadows across her ceiling. She was silent for a long time. Then she said, "I want you to never ask that again." I chuckled. She didn't. And I did something I hate myself for. I apologized. But she gave me just enough to keep me near. Late night kisses, half confessions, sudden bursts of affection that felt like redemption. She'd pull me into her chaos, let me believe I was saving her, then vanish for days with no texts, no calls, no explanation. When she came back, I never asked where she'd been, because I already knew I wouldn't like the answer. It took me 3 months to admit to myself that I loved her. 6 to admit that she didn't love me back. But by then, it was already too late. Because what she did next, what she planned next, made me realize she hadn't just warned me. She dared me. And I was the fool who took the dare. I never got to meet her friends. Not really. They existed in whispers and vague names. Maya, Quinn, Dom, a guy named Lyle who always owed her money. But I never saw them. Never heard their voices. When I asked, she said, "You wouldn't like them." I said, "Let me decide that." She kissed me instead. Haley was a master of diversion. She never lied, not directly. She just gave you the pieces she wanted you to hold and left you to imagine the rest. And I did. God, I did. I imagined a version of her that was complicated, not cruel. Free-spirited, not selfish. Scarred, not sharp. But what I didn't realize until much later is that when someone refuses to define your relationship, it's because they already have. And you're not going to like the definition. The unraveling started slow. Little things. She started texting less, but posted more. Cryptic stories. Half-lit mirror selfies. Music clips that always felt like they were meant for someone else. Then came the wrong name incident. We were hooking up in her apartment. She was on top of me, hair in my face, lips on my neck, and I heard it. God, I missed you, Nate. The name slapped the breath out of my chest. I froze. She didn't even notice. Kept going like nothing happened. When I finally pushed her back and stared at her, she blinked, like she'd been in a dream. I whispered, "Who the fuck is Nate?" Her mouth curled into something that wasn't a smile. Wasn't a frown either. Just tired. Just forget it. Please. That night she cried. First time I'd seen her do it. Said she'd messed everything up, that I deserved better, that she shouldn't have let it go this far. I asked her what she meant. She said, "I don't get to be the good guy, Aiden. That's not how this ends." I didn't sleep. I just laid next to her and stared at the ceiling, heart in pieces, wondering what the hell I had just stepped into. Weeks passed. I thought we were healing. We weren't. We were rotting from the inside. She started picking fights over nothing. Said I was too clingy, too available, too predictable. Once, I showed up with flowers. She stared at them like they were an accusation. Why are you trying so hard to make me feel like I'm worth something? I didn't have an answer. I just stood there, humiliated, holding a bouquet for a girl who saw kindness as guilt. Then came the party. I wasn't invited. She told me she was just going for a drink with her old roommates. Said it wasn't a big deal. But I knew something was off when she wouldn't answer my texts after midnight. Wouldn't pick up the phone. Wouldn't even read the message that said, "Are you okay?" At 2:37 a.m., I got a blurry snap. Her, on some guy's lap. Her middle finger up. The caption, "You worried? Don't be. I'm fine." I don't know what broke harder, my chest or the part of me that still believed I mattered to her. She didn't even mention it the next day. Acted like it didn't happen. When I brought it up, she rolled her eyes. Said it was just a joke. Said I take everything too personally. I said, "You made me fall for you." She shrugged. "You were never supposed to." The thing is, I knew. Even before that night, even before the snap, even before the name Nate, or the missing hours or the silent treatment, I knew she didn't want me. She wanted someone to need her. She wanted to be the fire, not the warmth. The chaos, not the comfort. And I let her. Because the saddest part? Even when it hurt, it still felt like something. And I was so goddamn tired of feeling like nothing. But her worst betrayal? It hadn't happened yet. That came when I finally tried to walk away. And she made sure I regretted it. You'd think it would have ended the night she humiliated me. That snap. That guy. That finger in the air. But Haley wasn't done. She never wanted an ending, only control. I stopped texting. Stopped showing up. I tried to unlearn her voice. Her laugh. Her scent on my hoodie. I blocked her number. Erased the photos. Burned the journal pages I wrote about her. And for 3 days, I felt like I could finally breathe. Then she showed up at my apartment. 3:11 a.m. Banging on the door like a cop. Screaming my name in that cracked, panicked way that used to make me forgive everything. I opened it because some stupid part of me still wanted her to say she was sorry. Instead, she fell into my arms crying. "I'm pregnant," she said. I didn't breathe. Not in shock, in suspicion. "Haley, what?" I missed my period. Twice. I just stood there, frozen. My thoughts 1,000 miles away from hers. And then she whispered, "I think it's yours." Not "it is." Not "we'll get through this." Just "I think." And right then, I knew. She was lying. Or at least, not sure. Which somehow was worse. But I didn't call her out. Not then. Instead, I sat down. Tried to steady myself. And she saw it. That flicker of doubt on my face. So she weaponized it. "You think I'm lying?" Her voice was ice now. "You think I'd make this up? You seriously think I'd trap you?" I stayed silent. And in that silence, she crafted her next move. "I knew it," she spat. "You're just like everyone else. You pretend to care until shit gets real, and then you bail." "Haley, no one's bailing. This is a lot. And you said you think." "I was wrong to come here." She stormed out. But she didn't leave. Not for good. The next day, she posted a picture. A pregnancy test. Positive. Caption, "Life changes everything. Broken heart." The comments exploded. People were tagging me. My name was being whispered through DMs like poison. I hadn't even told my mom yet. Now my entire college knew. Some girl I barely spoke to messaged me, "You're a piece of shit if you're leaving her alone with a baby." And I was just sitting on my floor, holding my phone like it was a bomb, wondering how she did it again. Turned my silence into guilt. Turned my doubt into narrative. She didn't want me back. She just didn't want me to leave clean. I tried to talk to her rationally. I asked for proof. A doctor's appointment. Something. She ghosted me. Then a week later. I miscarried. No call. No visit. Just a text. 3 words. No punctuation. And I sat there staring at them, wondering if it had ever even been real. And that's when the final switch flipped. I started digging. A friend of mine, Jason, told me he'd seen her with Nate 2 nights before she said she was pregnant. Another said she was on birth control the entire time. I didn't want to believe it. But truth doesn't need your belief. It exists anyway. What she wanted was chaos, not connection. A legacy of broken things, so she didn't feel so alone in her own damage. Weeks passed. I faded. Grades tanked. Stopped eating. Stopped talking to people. I felt like a ghost in my own life. Because the thing about emotional abuse is people don't recognize it unless you have bruises. But I did. They were just under the skin. Every time I tried to care, she cut deeper. Every time I tried to heal, she found a new way to haunt me. She didn't break up with me. She didn't ghost me. She imploded me. And I let her. Because I thought love meant never giving up. But she made sure loving her meant giving everything up, including myself. Oh, you ever feel like you're watching your own life from the outside? Like everyone sees you, but no one really looks? That was me, walking through campus like a half-developed film photo. There, but not quite. Known, but never understood. And then, somehow, Haley came back. Of course she did. Because endings, for her, weren't real. Only acts. Only scenes. And she still had one last performance in her. I was in the library when I saw her. She didn't even look at me. She was with Nate, holding his hand, laughing like she hadn't torched my entire sense of reality. And in that moment, I didn't feel anger. I felt shame, because I finally saw it. It was never about me. I was just her emotional dress rehearsal. The trial run. The one she used to sharpen her fangs before sinking them into someone else. But the worst wasn't seeing her with him. It was what came next. Later that night, I got a message from Nate. Nate, 1:13 a.m. Yo man, I know we're not cool or whatever, but you should know she told everyone you hit her. She said that's why she left you. I dropped my phone. My heart actually stopped. I couldn't even form thoughts, only flashes. My mom hearing this. My sister thinking it's true. My boss. My professor. My future. Because when a girl says that, even as a lie, you don't get a clean defense. You get buried in whispers. I messaged Haley. Me, 1:17 a.m. You told people I hit you? She left me on read. 5 minutes. 10. An hour. No reply. Until noon the next day. Haley, you don't get to act like the victim, Aiden. Not after what you did to me emotionally. That was it. No apology. No explanation. Just a twisted kind of justice in her head. As if my pain justified her lies. But the world believed her. Because she was beautiful. And broken. And knew how to cry on cue. I got pulled into a meeting with my advisor. They didn't say her name. They didn't have to. Concerns have been raised, they said, about your behavior in a past relationship. And just like that, my scholarship was in question. My internship withdrawn. No trial. No one asked me. They just nodded with tight lips and said, "We have to take these things seriously." So I did something desperate. I begged her. I actually begged her to stop. Called her 3 times. She answered on the 4th, voice like venom dipped in honey. "Aiden," she sighed. "You brought this on yourself. I didn't do anything. You did enough." Then she hung up. That night, I broke. I punched the mirror in my bathroom until it shattered. Glass in my knuckles. Blood on the sink. But even that didn't hurt as much as the silence from people I thought were my friends. People who knew me. Or claimed to. And that's when I started planning the only thing left I could control. The truth. Not to convince her. Not to win her back. But to survive. To clear the rot she planted inside everyone else's perception of me. I spent nights gathering everything. Screenshots. Voicemails. The snap she sent. The texts to Nate. I wasn't going to post them. I was going to show them privately. To the right people. My advisor. My mom. My job reference. My team lead. One by one, I sat them down and told the truth. Quietly. Calmly. Fact by fact. I didn't fight her story with louder rage. I fought it with evidence. And slowly, the tide shifted. Some people still whispered. But the ones who mattered, they knew. Some even apologized. "She had us fooled," one said. "She's done this before," another whispered. And I realized then, Haley wasn't new at this. She was trained. But I was her final act. The one she wanted to destroy completely. Because I was the one who dared to love her with eyes open. So when she tried to reach out again, and she did, I didn't respond. She sent a long message. "I miss you. I didn't mean for it to get this far. I'm not okay." I didn't answer. Because this wasn't about saving her anymore. It was about finally saving me. You think when the worst is over, the healing starts. It doesn't. When the chaos finally dies, you're left with silence. And silence is louder than betrayal. It echoes through the days, asking you the same damn question. Who the hell am I now? Because after someone nukes your name, your heart, and your reputation, you don't go back to the guy you were. You build someone new out of rubble. I didn't magically wake up one day healed. I didn't start journaling, find peace in yoga, or tattoo resilience on my ribs. I just survived, minute by minute. Started going to class again. Started replying to texts. Started speaking when spoken to. And eventually, I stopped checking her socials. That was huge, because up until then, I'd been watching her every move, even in secret, seeing who she followed, what she posted, what caption she used for her next boyfriend if she had one. But I realized something. I didn't want closure. I wanted vindication. I wanted the universe to punish her. I wanted karma to snap back with a vengeance and drag her name like she did mine. But life doesn't work like that. And honestly, waiting for karma is just a slower way of staying broken. One day, I ran into Nate. It was awkward, like seeing the guy who took your identity and didn't even know it. But he walked up to me, looked me in the eye, and said, "You were right." That was all. Just those 3 words. Then he walked away. And I swear, it hit harder than any apology I'd ever gotten. Turns out she cheated on him too. Gaslit him. Twisted everything until he was the abuser. Same script. Different name. And I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. But mostly, I felt free. Because for the first time since she shattered me, I didn't feel alone in it anymore. I graduated 6 months later. Landed a solid job in a different city. New number. New apartment. New version of me. And yet, even with distance, there were nights her voice echoed. Not the sweet one. The one laced with manipulation. The one that said, "You made me this way." The one that cried crocodile tears the night she kissed another guy right in front of me. But I learned not to answer those echoes. I learned they're just noise. And I learned the most painful truth of all. Some people hurt you, not because you were weak, but because you were real in a world where they were fake. Then, one random Thursday, she emailed me. Subject line, "I'm sorry." I hovered over it. Didn't open it. Didn't need to. Because apologies don't mean much when they come from someone who only says sorry when they lose control of the narrative. So here's what I'd tell the version of me from a year ago, the guy who sat on the floor, crying with glass in his hands, feeling like a ghost in his own skin. You survive. Not with a perfect comeback. Not with revenge. Not with her begging to come back. You survive by choosing yourself. Over and over and over again. Even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. I still don't trust easily. Still flinch when someone says, "I'd never hurt you." But now, I know the signs. Now, I have armor, not walls. And now, I see myself not as a victim, but as proof that you can be broken and still come back whole. The end.